Pre-sales, whether it's a house, a condo, or a townhome, there's things you need to be aware of before you even proceed. I've been selling a lot of these properties for the last 28 years, and there's things that you would be shocked if you didn't pay attention. So as you wander around the show suite, you see the model of the building, and they point out this suite's available, that suite's available, and you decide on which one you want, and you decide you're going to write an offer. Well, the offer is written on the developer's contract. It's not an MLS contract, it's the developer's contract. With that contract, you're going to get a disclosure statement. The disclosure statement is one of the most important things you need to read, and read carefully and understand it. And in lots of cases, it's even advisable to have a lawyer review it. Now, I could tell you horror stories about things that happened. The seller or the developer reserves the right to make any changes they deem necessary without contacting or making the buyer aware. Do you have any idea what those would be? Appliances can be changed out, countertops, doorknobs, doors, and in about 4 instances, the suite was actually 5 to 7% less square footage than it was posted at. So this doesn't happen with every developer, but like everything else, you need to do your homework. And it's a very good idea to know your builder. Buyers cannot back out on the purchase of a pre-sale after the 7-day rescission period. If you are buying a pre-sale, make sure you are 100% certain that you can complete on it when the condo is ready for occupancy. Pre-sold buildings in most of the cases do not complete on time, and completion can be delayed significantly, as in the last 2 years with this pandemic. So in some cases, your deposit can be held for anywhere up from 2 to 3 years. And if that's $100,000, a lot of money in interest that you're missing out on. Please be careful with pre-sale contracts. Developers in some cases are notorious for having one-sided contracts worded in their favor, including, which is just new, price escalation clauses tucked in. Because of the supply chain issues, prices are increasing, they want to recoup some of those losses. GST is also payable on pre-sales. This is a payment not for any value addition to the asset or the home. Also, not all lenders will finance the GST if the market fails. The buyer is still required to complete on the pre-sale at the contracted price. The lender will finance on the appraised value, which may be now lower than the contracted price when you purchased it. In the absence of a rising real estate market, condo pre-sales can be difficult to resell. Developers will often not allow buyers of pre-sales to assign or sell their pre-sale unit until the developer has sold all of the units out. And in some cases, the buyer's own financial situation may change. So we were recently involved in a transaction on a pre-sale when the buyer had purchased this in 2020. And I can't go into all the details, but it was in his best interest to resell it or assign the contract. Now, he just came out of that contract basically breaking even, but his situation was the fact that he needed to get this sold. So breaking even was a godsend for him. Sometimes it doesn't work out quite that way, but this time it did. So another note, we were going to buy a pre-sale down in Kings Landing area, way back in the mid-2005s. And in the disclosure statement, which I read cover to cover, it said the developer reserves the right to add 7 stories to this building over here. And I thought, well, if they add 7 stories, my view's going to be gone. And I thought, if they're mentioning that, it's going to happen. So we didn't buy that suite. And sure enough, they added the 7 floors and our view was gone. So you need to understand not only the disclosure statement, but where the building's located and what's going to be in front and behind. Everything is planned. If you were to buy at the 501 on Pacific Avenue, it was touted great big huge park, ocean views. Well, 5 years later, 10 years later, there's like 12, 14 towers there and you don't have any view. So you need to be aware of your surroundings also. And hopefully the model that they show in the show suite can look at what's in the area. Your realtor can help you with what's happening in the development permit side. We just did another one downtown where we looked at buying a condo. Great big views to the west, but there's 2 towers going in on the south side, and on the west side of the building there was 3 buildings coming down and 2 more towers going up, which would have increased the noise and disrupted the view dramatically. Once again, this isn't all pre-sales. It's just to make you aware of what you should be looking at when you're in the pre-sale process. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call, text, or an email, and I can help you and guide you and point you in the right directions. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video.